All right, so are you ready to dive deep into Airbnb today?
Always ready for a deep dive.
So many listeners have been asking about Airbnb's remote work policies.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
They want the scoop on what kind of jobs are up for grabs,
Mm,
and most importantly, if Airbnb is actually a good company to work for.
for sure.
Well, get this.
Yeah.
Airbnb has gone all in on remote first,
Interesting.
and we uncovered a super interesting detail.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Starting in September, they're letting their employees work from anywhere in the world.
Wow, really?
Yeah, for up to 90 days a year.
That's amazing.
We dug into a recent YouTube video that breaks it all down. Plus, we've got some intel on current job openings.
Okay, awesome.
And, of course, what it's really like to work there, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Got to get that insider perspective.
Exactly.
It's pretty incredible to see a company as big as Airbnb making such a bold move,
Right.
This isn't just some temporary pandemic thing. CEO Brian Chesky himself said it's permanent. I think it could signal a much bigger shift in how we all work.
Totally.
Like the whole way we approach work might be changing.
Yeah, they've laid out these 3 core principles for this new way of working.
Okay, let's hear them.
All right, so first you can work from home, the office, or a mix of both.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
Flexibility is a key these days.
Definitely.
Second, you can work from anywhere within the country that hires you.
All right.
And third, and this is the big one, you can work from anywhere in the world for up to 90 days a year from a list of 170 countries.
No way.
I know. Imagine sipping a cappuccino in a Parisian cafe while you work.
Sounds dreamy.
Seriously. That could be your reality starting in September.
This definitely brings up some interesting questions about the future of work.
I was just thinking that.
Like, what happens to those giant office buildings?
Right.
How does it change the whole team dynamic and how we collaborate?
Those are great questions.
It seems like how we define work is changing right in front of us. It'll be really interesting to see how Airbnb handles all of this.
For sure. Uncharted territory. But while we're thinking about those bigger questions, let's get back to you, the listener, and your job search.
Yeah, let's get practical.
This YouTube video we found actually shows you step by step how to find open positions on Airbnb's website. It's careers.airbnb.com.
Handy.
I know. And guess what? They have a ton of positions open right now.
Like, how many are we talking?
Like 208 positions
Wow.
across 62 locations.
That's a good sign, right? Shows they're growing.
Oh yeah, and they're actively hiring.
Good news for job seekers.
They're looking for people in so many departments: administrative, engineering, data science, design, community support, legal, finance, marketing.
Wow, the whole gamut.
Pretty much. They even have internships.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And a special program for recent grads. It's called the University Program.
So they're thinking about the future, too, building a diverse and talented workforce.
Exactly. They're not just looking for seasoned professionals.
Yeah, makes sense.
They're investing in the next generation of talent.
Smart move.
And they're open to different ways of working, too.
Oh, how so?
They have some freelance and contract opportunities available right now.
Interesting.
Though not as many as full-time roles.
Okay.
But it shows they value flexibility.
Yeah, it's definitely not just the traditional 9 to 5 anymore.
Right. The way we work is definitely changing.
Adapting to the times.
So if you're thinking, okay, this all sounds fantastic, but is there a catch?
There's always a catch, right?
We did some digging into employee feedback on Comparably. And it seems like Airbnb has a pretty great company culture.
Okay, that's a good sign.
They scored 4.1 out of 5.
Not bad at all.
And their CEO, Brian Chesky, he gets high marks too.
That's important. A good leader can make a huge difference.
Seriously, it affects everything.
A positive company culture and a well-respected CEO, that's a good foundation.
Yeah, and employee reviews show 75% satisfaction, which is impressive.
Pretty up.
Yeah. But, and there's always a but, it seems like their compensation might not be as competitive as some other big tech companies.
Ah, so that's the trade-off.
It seems like it.
So it comes down to priorities, right?
I think so.
Are you willing to maybe take a slightly smaller paycheck for the flexibility and the culture?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Only you can answer that.
Right. And there's one more thing we need to talk about. Diversity and inclusivity.
Yeah, that's super important.
Airbnb ranked in the top 35% for diversity, which isn't bad.
Okay.
But their gender score is in the lower 40%.
Huh. So there's room for improvement there.
Definitely.
Something to think about.
Yeah, maybe do some more research into how Airbnb is addressing those issues.
What are they doing to create a more equitable workplace? Those are important questions.
For sure.
Got to align yourself with companies that share your values.
Absolutely. A job's about more than just a paycheck.
Totally.
It's about being part of something you believe in.
One last thing before we move
Wow.
on. It sounds like Airbnb is a fast-paced environment.
It does, from what we've gathered.
So, that could be great if you thrive on that kind of energy.
Yeah, some people love that.
But maybe not so much if you prefer a slower pace.
Right. It's all about knowing yourself and your work style.
Exactly. Got to find the right fit.
So before we dive into the specific departments and roles,
Okay.
let's recap what we know about Airbnb so far.
Sounds good.
They're a forward-thinking company,
Definitely.
embracing remote work
Big time.
with tons of potential opportunities in all sorts of fields.
And they're trying to adapt to the changing world of work.
Yeah, prioritizing flexibility.
But like with any job search, you got to do your research.
Absolutely.
Weigh all the factors. Salary, benefits, the culture, diversity, and your personal values to decide if it's the right fit for you.
So are you ready to dig into the details of those job openings?
Let's do it.
I'm excited to see what they're looking for in their next hires.
Me too. All right, let's dive into those job openings.
Let's do it.
Remember, Airbnb has positions in a ton of different departments.
Oh yeah, we're talking everything from admin stuff
Okay.
to something called the Airbnb Capacity Center.
Interesting.
Then there's business operations, analysis, community support, data science, design, employee experience, and a bunch more.
Wow, that's quite a list. Anything in particular jumping out at you?
Honestly, I'm just impressed by the sheer variety of it all.
Yeah, it does seem like they have something for everyone.
But I am intrigued by that Airbnb Capacity Center.
Oh, yeah, what is that exactly?
It sounds kind of mysterious, right?
It does. Like, what goes on there?
From what we could gather, it seems to be the heart of their operations,
Ah, okay.
making sure everything runs smoothly behind the scenes.
Like the engine room of the Airbnb machine?
Exactly.
Okay.
And we found roles in production design, technical recruiting, engineering, even data science, all within this capacity center.
So it's not just about customer service or hospitality.
It seems like it's much more than that.
They're probably building the systems and processes that power the whole platform.
Right.
Think about it. They have to manage millions of listings
Oh, yeah.
and make sure things are running smoothly for both hosts and guests.
It's a huge operation.
Massive.
And speaking of keeping things running smoothly,
Yeah.
they seem to be really invested in community support.
That makes sense. Building a strong community is key for Airbnb.
It is. They want both the hosts and the guests to feel connected.
Right, like they're part of something.
Exactly. And we found a bunch of roles in community support.
Like what?
Regional manager roles, quality training, analytics and insights, senior analyst roles, and more.
So they're really putting resources into maintaining those relationships.
Yeah, making sure everyone has a positive experience.
I like how they're blending the traditional hospitality aspects with all this cutting-edge technology,
It's a cool mix.
like using data analysis to improve the hospitality experience.
Yeah, it's not just about warm smiles and friendly greetings anymore.
It's about data-driven hospitality.
Exactly. And speaking of opportunities, let's not forget about internships.
Oh, right, those.
It looks like they have internships in legal, data science, communications, and public policy.
Wow, that's a great way to get your foot in the door at a company like Airbnb.
I know, especially for recent grads.
Yeah, or anyone looking to switch careers.
It's a chance to gain experience in a fast-growing company.
And a dynamic environment.
For sure. Now, for those of you who maybe aren't looking for a traditional full-time gig,
Okay.
remember, Airbnb also has some freelance and contract opportunities.
Right.
Not as many as full-time positions, but still,
Something to keep in mind.
especially if you value flexibility.
And independence.
So we've got full-time roles, internships, and freelance gigs.
Got it.
But where are these opportunities located?
Well, the full-time positions are spread across a whopping 62 locations.
62.
But remember, you can work from anywhere within the country that hires you.
Right, right.
And then there's that 90-day work from anywhere in the world perk starting in September.
It opens up a whole world of possibilities.
It does, doesn't it?
But realistically, most of the full-time positions are concentrated in about 20 countries,
Okay, which ones are we talking about?
mainly North America, Europe, and Asia.
So if you're not in one of those countries, your options might be limited for now.
Yeah, that's true.
But hey, Airbnb is always growing and expanding.
They are.
So keep an eye out. New opportunities could pop up anywhere.
Exactly. Never say never.
So let's break it down a bit further. Where are they hiring the most right now?
Well, as you might expect, they have a lot of openings in the U.S.,
Makes sense. Their headquarters is in San Francisco.
but there are also positions in India, China, Germany, Belgium, Ireland, the UK, Luxembourg, the Philippines, Mexico, Italy, Canada.
Wow, they're really all over the place.
And that's not all. There's also France, Brazil, South Korea, Singapore, Australia, and Japan.
Seriously, global company.
And remember, even within those countries, you have the flexibility to work from pretty much anywhere within the borders.
You could be in a bustling city or a quiet countryside town.
It's all about finding what suits your lifestyle.
I like that.
Okay, now let's zero in on those freelance and contract roles.
All right.
Right now, they have 4 open positions,
Okay.
and they all seem to be based in San Francisco.
Interesting. So maybe they're centralizing some functions even as they embrace remote work for other departments?
Could be.
What kind of freelance roles are they looking for?
They're pretty specialized.
Like what?
There's a service care manager for image,
Okay.
a service care manager for Korea and Japan, a service care manager for Singapore, and a marketplace listing photographer.
Those sound like they require specific skills and expertise.
They do.
So it makes sense that they might be more concentrated in a central location for now.
Yeah, I think so.
So we've covered the types of positions, the departments, and the locations.
We have.
What else should we know about these job openings?
I think it's important to understand what each department actually does
Yeah, good point.
and what kind of skills they're looking for.
Let's paint a clearer picture of what it might be like to actually work in some of these departments.
Let's do it.
For example, let's zoom in on the community support department.
Okay, good one.
These folks are on the front lines, making sure both hosts and guests have a smooth and positive experience on the platform.
So if you're someone who loves helping people and has great communication skills,
Yeah.
this could be a good fit for you.
But it's not just about being friendly and helpful.
Right. No more than that.
They're working with sophisticated systems and using data to solve problems quickly and efficiently,
So you got to be tech savvy too.
like a tech-savvy problem solver.
Exactly. Okay, now let's shift gears to the data science department.
All right, the data wizards.
Airbnb generates mountains of data,
I bet.
and these folks are the ones who make sense of it all.
Crunching numbers, spotting trends,
Yeah, and using that data to make important decisions.
the brains behind the Airbnb algorithms.
Pretty much. So we're talking about analytical thinkers, experts in statistical modeling.
The folks who can handle big data.
Yep, they play a key role in understanding how people use Airbnb.
And shaping the future of the platform.
Next up, let's step into the design department.
The creative hub.
They're the ones behind the look and feel of everything you see on Airbnb.
From the app to the website.
The branding, the marketing materials, all of it.
They make it visually appealing and user-friendly.
Exactly. So, obviously, strong visual design skills are essential.
And experience with user interface design.
Oh, yeah, and a deep understanding of user experience principles.
It's a mix of creativity and technical know-how.
Definitely. And it plays a huge role in how people interact with Airbnb.
And finally, let's talk about the engineering department.
The builders.
The ones who make the magic happen.
They build and maintain the entire technical infrastructure of Airbnb.
Think of them like the architects and construction workers of the digital world.
I like that. So we're talking about software engineers, web developers, database administrators,
The folks who keep everything running smoothly.
and securely. It's a demanding job,
For sure.
but it's also super rewarding.
You're literally building the platform that millions of people use.
Right. You're making it possible for people to connect and experience the world in new ways.
All right, so we've given you a taste of what it might be like to work in some of Airbnb's key departments.
Just a glimpse.
Remember, there are many other departments and roles to explore,
Definitely.
each with its own unique challenges and rewards.
We encourage you to head over to their website,
careers.airbnb.com.
browse the job listings, and really dig into the details of what each role involves.
The more you know about what they're looking for, the better prepared you'll be.
Exactly. Okay, so now let's move on to the application process itself.
All right, how do you actually apply for a job at Airbnb?
Well, luckily, the process is pretty straightforward,
That's good to hear.
especially if you're applying for a US-based role.
Okay.
Remember that YouTube video we mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
It walks you through the steps, and it's super easy to follow.
Great. So what's the first step?
You head over to careers.airbnb.com,
Okay.
find a position that catches your eye. Got it, and click Apply Now.
Simple enough?
Then you fill out an online application.
Okay.
Upload your resume and cover letter.
The usual suspect.
Pretty much. And you answer a few questions about your work situation in the U.S.
All right.
Oh, and one important tip.
Yeah.
Tailor your resume and cover letter to each specific role.
That's good advice.
It makes a big difference.
So highlight the skills and experiences that make you a strong candidate for that particular position.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to let your personality shine through.
Airbnb seems like a company that values creativity and individuality.
They do. So let your application reflect who you are.
Show them what makes you unique.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've submitted your application. What happens next?
You enter their system
Okay.
and go through the different phases of the recruitment process.
So there might be phone screens, video interviews.
Yeah, maybe even in-person interviews, depending on the role and location.
Be prepared to answer questions about your skills, your experience.
And your understanding of Airbnb's business and culture.
It's important to do your homework.
Seriously, research the company thoroughly
And be ready to talk about your career goals.
and how they align with Airbnb's mission.
But most importantly, be yourself.
Authenticity is key.
They want to see the real you.
Okay, now let's talk about something that's super relevant to you.
Okay.
Airbnb's approach to virtual interviews.
Yeah, since we're talking about remote work.
This is where their commitment to remote work really shines.
Oh, so.
They've made it easy for candidates to interview from anywhere in the world.
That makes sense.
They're totally comfortable doing interviews over video conferencing.
So even if you're not near one of their offices, you still have a shot at getting the job.
Exactly. You just need a stable internet connection,
Crucial.
a quiet space for the interview.
And dress professionally.
Oh yeah, first impressions still matter.
Always.
All right, so we've covered a lot here.
We have, from the different departments and roles to the application process and virtual interviews.
We've tried to give you a good overview of what it takes to land a job at Airbnb.
But remember, this is just the beginning.
It is.
Don't just rely on this overview.
Right, do your own research.
Dig deeper, go to their website, read their blog posts, watch their videos.
And connect with people who work there.
Get the inside scoop.
And most importantly, think about your own values and goals.
What are you looking for in a workplace?
What kind of culture do you thrive in?
What are your salary expectations?
Answering these questions will help you figure out if Airbnb is the right fit for you.
Okay, now let's switch gears and dive into something equally important. Employee feedback.
Let's hear what it's really like to work at Airbnb.
Straight from the source.
We've got some insights from Comparably, a website where employees share their experiences and rate their companies.
Great resource.
And first up, Airbnb has a pretty impressive culture score.
How impressive.
4.1 out of 5.
That's above average.
It is.
Yeah.
Suggests a positive and supportive work environment.
People seem to genuinely enjoy working there.
They do. And as we mentioned before, their CEO, Brian Chesky, is also highly rated.
A good leader can make a world of difference.
Seriously.
It sets the tone for the whole company.
And employees report a high level of satisfaction, too.
Like, how high?
75% say they're happy with their jobs.
It's pretty high.
It is. They like the challenging projects and the potential for growth.
Those are definitely appealing perks.
They are, especially for people who want to develop their skills and move up in the company.
But remember that potential downside we talked about?
Oh, yeah, the compensation.
And might not be as competitive as some other tech giants.
That's the trade-off, right?
So you got to weigh your priorities.
Is a slightly lower salary worth the flexibility, the culture, and the growth potential?
That's the question.
Now let's circle back to diversity and gender inclusivity.
Right, important topic.
Airbnb ranked in the top 35% for diversity,
Okay, not bad.
but their gender score is in the lower 40%.
So there's room for improvement there. This is something potential employees might want to research further.
For sure, how is Airbnb addressing this issue?
What initiatives are they taking to create a more inclusive workplace for all genders? These are things to consider.
A job is more than just a paycheck, right?
Absolutely.
It's about being part of a community that aligns with your values.
Okay, let's dig into some of the specifics about the employee experience at Airbnb.
That's good.
What can we learn from the feedback on Comparably?
Well, it seems like Airbnb is known for being a fast-paced, demanding environment.
Ah, the startup culture.
Kind of. It could be a pro or a con, depending on your personality.
Some people thrive in that kind of high-energy setting,
They love it.
but others prefer a more structured, predictable pace.
It's all about knowing yourself and what you're comfortable with.
If you like a challenge and can handle a fast-paced workload, Airbnb could be great.
Yeah, but if you prefer a slower pace, you might want to look elsewhere.
Gotta find that right fit.
Now let's talk about work-life balance.
Ah, yes, the eternal struggle.
How does Airbnb do in that department?
Well, the feedback is mixed.
Really?
Some employees say they work long hours and the culture is demanding.
which can make it tough to maintain a healthy work-life balance.
Right.
But other employees say that the company is supportive of their personal lives,
Okay.
and they offer flexibility to accommodate their needs.
So it seems like work-life balance at Airbnb might depend on your specific role.
Maybe your team or your manager.
It's definitely something to ask about during the interview process.
Yeah, get a feel for the company's expectations around work hours and flexibility.
All right, we've covered culture, diversity, work-life balance.
The employee experience.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about. Salaries.
The money.
We mentioned earlier that compensation at Airbnb might not be as competitive.
Yeah, let's get into the specifics.
What can people realistically expect to earn?
Well, the data from Comparably gives us a pretty good idea of the salary ranges.
Okay, good.
But remember, these are just averages. Your actual salary will depend on your specific role, your experience, your location, and other factors.
Makes sense.
So for entry-level positions like a community manager or an administrative assistant, you're looking at around $50,000 per year on average.
All right.
But salaries can go as high as $68,000 or even $90,000 depending on your seniority.
That's quite a range.
It is. Shows you the importance of negotiating your salary.
Don't be afraid to ask for what you're worth.
Exactly. Now, for more experienced roles, like a senior manager of UX writing, the average salary jumps up significantly.
How much are we talking?
You're looking at six figures easily,
And what about those leadership positions?
like a VP of sales, product, or engineering.
Yeah.
Those salaries can go above $250,000 to $270,000 per year.
Wow. So Airbnb does offer competitive salaries, especially for experienced folks.
They do, but remember, salary is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. Got to consider the benefits, the growth potential, work-life balance, the culture.
The whole package.
Find the right balance for you.
Don't get fixated on just the number.
It's about how it all fits into your life.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. From job openings to the application process to employee feedback and salaries.
We've tried to give you a comprehensive overview of what it's like to work at Airbnb.
Both the good and the not so good.
But this is just the starting point.
It is. Do your own research.
Talk to people who work there
Get the inside scoop.
and make an informed decision.
Airbnb is a dynamic, innovative company,
They are.
but it might not be the right fit for everyone.
It's important to think about your own values, priorities, and career goals.
Does Airbnb align with your vision for the future?
That's the key question.
Okay, ready to explore something that might be especially interesting to you.
I'm always up for exploring.
Let's talk about Airbnb's work from anywhere policy.
Oh yeah, the big one.
This is where things get really exciting.
Starting in September, they're letting eligible employees work from anywhere in the world for up to 90 days a year.
Wow, that's a game changer.
It is. Imagine yourself working from a beach in Bali or a cafe in Paris.
Sounds pretty dreamy.
Right. And it's not just about exotic locations.
What else?
It opens up possibilities for people who want to work remotely within their own country, too.
Ah, I see.
Maybe they want to live in a different city
Or be closer to family.
without sacrificing their career.
That's great.
This policy really shows how committed Airbnb is to flexibility.
And employee well-being.
They get it. Work doesn't have to be confined to an office.
But this new way of working also raises some questions.
It does, for sure.
Like, how will it impact team dynamics and communication?
That's a big one.
Will it be harder for managers to oversee teams when everyone's spread out?
And how will they make sure everyone feels connected and included in the company culture, regardless of location?
These are all valid questions.
They are. We'll have to see how it all plays out.
It's a bold experiment.
But one thing's for sure, Airbnb is at the forefront of redefining the future of work
They are. They're embracing a global workforce.
and prioritizing flexibility.
So how does this work from anywhere policy actually work?
Well, starting in September, eligible employees can work from any of the 170 countries on Airbnb's approved list.
Okay, so there are some limitations.
There are, but it's still a huge list.
It is. So do they just pick a country and go?
They need to let their manager know
Okay,
and make sure their work can be done remotely.
makes sense.
But other than that, they can choose where they want to be.
Can they stay in one place for the whole 90 days?
They can, or they can hop around to different countries,
Wow.
as long as they follow visa requirements and local laws.
Of course. Got to stay legal.
And Airbnb will help them with visas and work permits.
That's helpful.
They want to make the process as easy as possible.
Sounds like they're really invested in making this policy work.
Oh yeah, for both the company and its employees.
They're putting in the effort to make remote work truly viable.
Definitely. So what are the benefits of this policy for employees?
Well, the biggest one is flexibility. Employees can choose to live and work in places that they love, places that match their interests and lifestyle.
And their family needs,
They can experience new cultures, broaden their horizons.
all while pursuing their careers.
This policy could be a dream come true for digital nomads.
The people who are already working remotely and traveling the world.
But it's also great for people who just want more control over their work environment
Maybe you want to work from a beach during the winter.
or spend a few weeks with family during the holidays.
The possibilities are endless.
It's about designing your own work-life experience.
And let's not forget about the benefits for Airbnb as a company.
Right. It's not just about the employees.
By embracing remote work, they can attract top talent from all over the globe,
They're not limited by geography anymore.
which gives them a huge advantage in the competition for talent.
And it promotes diversity and inclusion.
For sure, they're opening up opportunities for people from all sorts of backgrounds.
And happier employees are usually more productive.
It's a win-win for everyone.
It really seems like it.
Airbnb's work from anywhere policy is an exciting experiment.
It could change the way we all think about work and travel.
It's a glimpse into a future where work is not tied to a specific place.
A future where employees have the freedom to live and work on their own terms.
And Airbnb is leading the way.
But it's important to acknowledge that there are challenges, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Managing remote teams effectively requires clear communication and a culture of trust.
It does. You can't just assume it will all work out magically.
And Airbnb will need to invest in the right tools and resources to support remote collaboration.
They'll need to make sure that everyone feels connected and included no matter where they are.
And then there's the issue of time zones, language barriers, and cultural differences.
Those are real challenges.
It's a complex undertaking.
But Airbnb seems determined to make it work
They're learning as they go.
and paving the way for other companies to follow their lead.
It's an exciting time to be part of this remote work revolution.
It is. Okay, before we wrap up this section, I want to bring it back to you, the listener, and your job search.
Good idea.
How does this policy factor into your decision-making?
That's the big question.
If you're someone who values flexibility and freedom, this could be a huge draw for you.
Imagine being able to work from anywhere in the world for 3 months out of the year.
It's an amazing opportunity.
But you also need to consider other factors.
It's like salary, benefits, career growth, and company culture.
It's all about finding the right balance.
This work from anywhere policy is amazing,
It is,
but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
right?
Do your research, consider all the angles.
And make an informed decision that's right for you.
Airbnb's work from anywhere policy is a game changer,
No doubt.
but it's just one example of how the world of work is changing.
There are so many other companies out there embracing this new way of working.
So explore your options.
Find what works best for you.
The future of work is flexible, global, and full of possibilities.
It is.
Now, let's wrap up this deep dive and leave you with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Imagine you land your dream job at Airbnb,
Awesome.
and you have the opportunity to work from anywhere in the world for 90 days a year.
The dream.
Where would you go?
Oh, that's a good one.
What destinations would be at the top of your list?
So many possibilities.
How would you balance work with adventure and personal growth?
It's a chance to create a work life that's truly fulfilling.
So, do your research.
Explore Airbnb.
See if it aligns with your vision for the future.
The future of work is here.
And it's full of potential.
Yeah.
So many amazing places to choose from, right?
Right. It really gets you thinking about all the possibilities.
It does. And it brings up another interesting point, the potential impact this whole work from anywhere thing could have on,
Yeah.
like, society as a whole.
Oh, yeah, the ripple effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine if people weren't tied to big cities for work anymore.
People could live wherever they wanted.
Right. They could choose a place that matches their lifestyle, their values, even the weather.
It could lead to a much more geographically diverse workforce.
I was just thinking that. People might move to smaller towns, rural areas.
Even different countries.
It could revitalize those communities.
Bring new energy and opportunities to places that might have been overlooked before.
And think about the impact on local economies.
It's fascinating to consider, isn't it? This isn't just about individual freedom anymore.
It's about reshaping communities.
Pioneering new ways of living and working.
It really is a whole new world, but of course there are challenges too.
There always are, right?
Like, access to reliable internet is crucial.
That's a big one.
And then there are visa restrictions, cultural differences, things like that.
And how do you maintain a strong company culture when everyone is spread out all over the place?
That's a good question. How do you build a sense of community when you're not physically together.
These are all things that companies like Airbnb are figuring out as they go.
They're pioneers, in a way.
Experimenting, adapting, paving the way for others.
It's exciting to watch, but I think the potential benefits outweigh the challenges.
I think so too. I mean, the opportunity to design a work life that truly aligns with your values, your passions.
It's empowering, you know. It's about more than just a job. It's about creating a life you love.
Exactly.
So as you're thinking about Airbnb and their job opportunities,
Yeah.
remember to keep this broader perspective in mind.
Don't just focus on the job title or the salary.
Think about the lifestyle it could offer, the impact it could have on your life as a whole.
Ask yourself, where would I want to work from?
What kind of life would I want to build around my work?
Those are the important questions.
And remember, Airbnb is just one example.
Right. There are so many other companies out there embracing remote work.
The future of work is changing.
It's flexible, it's global, it's full of possibilities.
It's up to you to decide how you want to shape it.
Well said.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Airbnb's remote work revolution.
It was fun.
We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
And maybe even a little bit thought-provoking.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely. And happy job hunting.